All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Big Time Hoops, the podcast, and it's a big one. We're trying to make this one happen for a while, and we got him. His name keeps coming up. People keep asking, when are you going to get this guy? When are you going to get this guy? And he's here. Ralph Mims. Ralph Mims is on Big Time Hoops, the podcast.
Yes,
Ralph, man, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How you doing, man? I'm glad to be here, man. Glad to finally, touch down with my guy Tom, and see what's going on, man. Everything's been going good. I appreciate it, Tom.
Yeah, so we talked. Just mentioned how we were trying to make this happen for a while. You're a busy guy, and your time in Maine was very, very brief, which we'll get to. But the name still holds sway. People know the name Ralph Mims. But for those that may not have heard from you since you left a while back, where are you currently at?
Oh, I'm in Pace, Florida now, man. Down here, I'm right here in Pensacola, right, probably like 2 hours away from Tallahassee, where I went to school at, man. So I resigned here. I'm in Pace, and loving it, man. A little small little town, but hey, look, a lot of growth.
And we were talking about before we started recording here, doing the training thing, right? So starting to give back. So is it safe to say the playing days are done for you? Now it's time to start giving back?
Yeah, man. It is. It's crazy to say that. It's like I'm 35, and since I started my whole training deal, it's like, man, I get out there and I train my kids and my clients, and it's like I still feel good, and bring back memories and things like that, man. So I mean, it's fun. It's amazing. Hell, it's keeping me in shape. I know that.
Yeah. So you mentioned not that old of a guy, only 35, but I'm just curious, like when do you actually hang it up? Do you still play competitive, or are your competitive days pretty much behind you?
I'm getting back into the competitive spirit. I mean, I hung them up probably about 5 years ago. I hung it up, and I mean, I still compete, and now, like I said, I train and I do it so much now. It's like my body and everything is getting so back used to it. It's making me want to get back competing. So I tell my friends and my wife, it's like, man, it's that feeling, that urge of, hey, I might as well find me a personal trainer and get back at this thing. So
make a comeback. Get ready to make a comeback.
Yeah, man, and it's scary. It's scary because I really feel physically good. I dealt with my whole ACL, man, rehab, and got myself back going, and still have some things to tweak up on it. But other than that, man, I feel good, and I just this training that my whole business still is really helping that. But yeah, that whole competitive spirit still eats at me.
Okay. So before we get into it, because you're down in Florida now, and I think that's where you grew up, we're going to talk about all that stuff. And I mentioned real briefly that your time in Maine was brief. And I'm just curious, have you been back to Maine since? Like, how often do you come back to the state? When was the last time you were actually in the state?
Man, Tom, I ain't going to even, man, I want to say probably second year Florida State, around that time. It's been a while, man.
Yeah.
And that's why I say since I'm so glad, man, that I can even, do this podcast with you, man, just to let the city, the state know, man, just how much I appreciate them. How much fun I had. I mean, I haven't been back up there in a while, but I'm thinking about this summer, Lord's willing, man, me and my kids and my family, probably try to get up there, or even me and my wife. Hey, I might just have to come solo, but hey, I have to get back up there and touch down, put my feet back down on that turf, man. I'm really looking forward to that.
All right. So I want to go back now and just try to trace the journey, how you actually got to Maine. And there's a bunch to get into, too, with your time after Maine. You mentioned Florida State and some pro ball and stuff like that. So a lot of things to touch on. So let's just go back to the beginning. So you're in Florida now. Is that where you were born? Were you raised in Florida boy?
Yes, sir. I was actually, Tom, it's crazy. I was born in Connecticut, Hartford, right up there. And my parents, I think it was probably when I was 6 to 10 months old, man, we moved down to Pensacola, Florida, and resigned down here for a little while, and probably around to my end of my 7th grade year once I moved up there. But yeah, I was down in Pensacola, Florida boy, and my dad was in the military, did the whole Commander Master Chief thing for 38 years, and And he got stationed up there. He got stationed up to Maine, man, going into my 8th grade year. And that's how the kid Ralph Mims got up to Maine.
Yeah, and I think you're one of the, if not the only, there's only been a few that have come on that were kind of military kids. So just curious what that upbringing was like for you. Did you guys bounce around a lot, or was it pretty much one spot until you guys came to Maine?
Tom, that was my first time ever moving. ever moving from Pensacola. So I didn't even know nothing about Maine, didn't know Maine State, didn't know, I didn't even know it snowed up there. You know what I mean? So, because I was so locked in on Pensacola, and when the whole move came about, it was kind of shocking to me and my family. You know what I mean? It was kind of, I don't want to say shocking, I say surprising, because we never moved. It would have been my first move ever. I was already deep and heavy into sports and everything. So, I was playing football and basketball at the same time. And, when my dad got that whole call, that he had to, we probably have to move, it was very scary, man. I'm not going to lie. It was very scary because I didn't know what, my expectations were, or what it was going to be like, or the lifestyle, or just, hey, I'm leaving my family and friends that I've been around since day one. And, now I got to go all the way up here, just meet my mom, my sister, my dad. So it was scary, but once everything started moving, man, it was to me, it was a great decision. Like I said, my dad sat down and talked about it, even about the move. But to me, it was a great decision. It was a move that my dad made for me in my career, dealing with his job. So I mean, it was a blessing. It really was.
And yeah, you mentioned that at that point you'd already been deep in sports, football, basketball, and the competition that you were exposed to in Florida up until that point was probably a little bit better than the competition you would have been exposed to had you grown up in Maine. Like, what were some of your early basketball experiences? I'm guessing you were like an AAU kid, right? I'm guessing you traveled all over the place.
Oh man, I look back over my career, Tom, man, and I share with my boys. I have 3 boys and a daughter. And I share with my kids, my oldest 13, my daughter 12, my 6-year-old son, then I got a 9-month or 10-month-old now. And I share with my oldest that I was real good at 6, 7, 8, or those baby years growing, baby years of basketball growing up. And yeah. I mean, I worked on so much. And I love to watch basketball so much at a young age. When I was growing up playing in the community center at Salvation Army over here in Pensacola, man, I was averaging 30, 40, 50-point games, 60-point games at 10, 13 years old. I mean, my parents, man, my mom used to have to carry my birth certificate around. No lie. I'm not even like, no, what they, the little word they say, no capping, no, none of that. Like, yeah. Honestly, like when I was my teen years and we went to the Lafayette, the Kansas, the Orlandos. We went to, the Tennessees. We went to the Jacksonville. We traveled and really went to places and played real good competition. I remember it was a real good team from Jacksonville called Plantation. I'll never forget that we used to kind of always run into at these big tournaments. And, I mean, they had a couple of good guys, but I remember those games and playing against teams like that, man. At a young age, I used to respond heavy. Like, I used to respond so much to it, and my competitive spirit was just so high, and the work ethic was so high at a young age because I knew that's all I had. You know what I mean? I knew that was my way out from this place of, Pensacola, Florida, where I grew up. I knew it was my way out that ball. So I really perfected a lot of heavy, good, great fundamentals at a young age. And it led to me just keep going, just kept going with it.
Absolutely. So you mentioned being good kind of right off the bat. Were you ranked like in the area? Like were you one of the, I'm guessing you were probably, were you getting looks already? That would have been a little bit young, but prior to moving to Maine, like were already schools kind of contacting you? Because I know it starts early for them kids that are really good.
Yeah, man. People wouldn't believe my story. I wasn't getting recruited at all, like around this time. I mean, I was, the schools around here, like the UWLs, the Pensacola junior colleges, the little small schools and stuff around here, they probably, come to a game, probably put something in my ear or something like that. But nothing at all here. No schools, no coaches, no nothing. So, I mean, everything really started, man, when I stepped foot on that soil up there in Maine, Brunswick Middle School. And from that point, man, God has his ways of doing things, and it fell upon me, man. It was great.
Yeah, so you mentioned how whenever it came time to make the move, you knew nothing about Maine. You didn't know about snow. I'm guessing you didn't know the hoops, you know, anything like that. Be honest with me, like, whenever you found out you were going to make the move, like, in your mind, we're like, oh, man, I'm about to go here and just kill it. I'm about to just kill everybody in that state.
Oh, most definitely. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah. I mean, it was just me being a Florida boy going up here repping. I ain't gonna lie. It was all about rep. It was like, my dad gonna make this move. I know about the city. I know about, hey, being up here by Boston and, New York, just, being up north, playing ball up north, no matter where at up north, there's some people can play. And I used to hear about it so much being down here. It's like, man, I mean, yeah, we hooping down here. We can hoop down here, you know what I mean? Like, we got hoopers down here. We just not no football guys down here in Florida. And that was my mentality off top was, hey, I'm gonna go here and do damage. That's all. I'm gonna go here and rep. I'm gonna rep my hood. I'm gonna rep Pensacola. I'm gonna rep where I'm from, my parents, myself. That was my whole goal and just work.
So you keep on mentioning Florida boy, and I've had the pleasure of playing with Florida boys. I got some of my best friends are Florida kids, and it just seems like there's a certain chip on Florida kids' shoulders, right? So what is it about coming out of Florida that just separates you guys, and makes you guys kind of feel like you got a point to prove?
To me, man, it just, we're a football state. Florida's football, and they think that, to me, I used to always think that they just think we can play football, man. They don't think Florida boys can hoop. Like, we can hoop. We can really get it, man. And that just, to me, that's my mode. That's my chip is, nah, I'm going to show you, hey, we can play football, basketball, baseball, all that. But I want to show you, hey, we got some real hoopers with, like you said, with a chip. And I mean, I've always played with a chip on my shoulder since I was 6 years old. I've always wanted to prove to myself first, prove to that opponent, and just work, man. That's what I preach right now to my kids that I train is, man, you got to work.
What was your first impression of Maine whenever you actually set foot up here? And what time of year was it? Because I feel like if you got here in the summertime for the first time versus coming here in the winter, it's going to be different first impressions. So when did you actually show up?
And that really was. Yeah. It was winter. Oh. It was winter. It was because we came. No, it wasn't. Was it? No. We came before yeah, it was winter because we came like the middle. It was crazy time. I'm trying to remember. It was like the middle, like the beginning of the basketball season for middle school. Around that time. So yeah, around like winter time. It was winter time. And that's when I started school and everything at Brunswick Middle School. They was already like 3-4 games in the season. And I was nervous. I'm like, man, you know what I mean? I got to meet new players and they already in the season. They got their homeboys and everything. And the coach certain guys, this is always on my mind. And man, me and my dad used to talk so much, man. And my dad just used to give me the real. And it's like, hey, get all that, man. They strap up just like you do. You know what time it is, what you come up here for, what's your purpose. Always told me, I always had a purpose. And my purpose was to, hey, stand out, be different, and work. Stand out, be different, and work. And once I got up there that winter, it was cold as hell. And I told my dad, he was wrong for that, but I'm gonna ride it out. long as he give me some. Hey Tom, I told him, long as he could give me some Timberlands at the time, cause being on golf, hey, you got the Timberlands, hey, you in the game. Hey, being from Florida, we ain't wearing Timberlands down here like that. So I could come up here and rock me some Timberlands, take me a picture, and show my homeboys down south. Hey, boy, I got some Timberlands. It was stuff like that, man. You know, just having fun with it. So yeah, that winter, man, got up here and got situated, and from that point in time, when I stepped on that Brunswick middle school team, it was on from there, man. It really was.
You mentioned standing out, right? So how long did it take you to stand out once you got here? I'm guessing it was immediate. Didn't take you long, I'm guessing.
Oh man, I would probably say it probably took me 3 games. 3 games. So, yeah, it probably took me about 3 games because I was nervous, and I just wanted to. And my dad always worked me hard. I've always pushed myself, so that wasn't the issue at all. It was the issue. My thing was gaining respect. You know what I mean? Gaining respect, getting respect, and being a great teammate, and just rocking out, doing my thing. And hey, whoever want to tag along with me, because I got a purpose, I got a reason of doing what I'm doing. If you want to rock out with me, that was just my motive. Okay, we can go at it. That was that. It was 3 games, and they saw how serious I was in 3 games. I'll never forget that, because I think it was like against my Nanrad Middle and like a couple middle school, Mount Blue. I don't know who it was. And I had a couple 30 pieces real quick. So, and it was fun, man. It was fun.
When I had Zach on, he had a story that he told. He said it was a summer league game the first time he saw you play, right? And he said that they were playing Brunswick in the summertime, and there was this kid on the end of the bench who didn't really get in the game to the very end. And then once he got in, which was you, it didn't take long to be like, how come this kid hadn't been playing the whole time? So what was your first introduction to like high school basketball, and what was like your first encounter with some of these guys that you wound up battling in high school?
Man, it was scary. And when I say scary, it's not being scared of, the opponent or whatever. It's just I'm new. You know what I mean? I'm still new at this point. I'm thinking I'm not from this area. Everybody that's around here, these people from here. You know what I mean? So I'm the new kid on the block. I'm still the new kid on the block. So it's like I'm still on that mood time of gaining this respect. You know what I mean? I'm still on that gaining this respect. Okay, they heard about me. I stepped foot off in here in Brunswick. So okay, now I got to go to high school. So I remember Coach Hansen, man. The first day I met Coach Hansen, it was like, I think it was like the second or third to the last game of the season, and he came to like the last 2 or something like that. And I was doing my thing, man. Had some good games, and I remember one game he asked me after the game. He was like, "Oh man, what do you think?" Talking to me, blah blah blah, and was like, "Yeah, man, I think you're pretty good enough to play varsity. What you think about that?" And when he said that, I'm like, what? I'm saying, hey, so I'm at the time, I'm like, oh, like, I'm seeing this one thing start calculating with me. I'm like, hold on, I just came from Pensacola, Florida.
Right.
I just played like 7-8 games, in the season, and this what comes with it. Everything was calculated so fast, so I was like, man. So I went home to my parents and like, man, Dad, man, the varsity coach up here at Brunswick High, I've been talking about I can play varsity as a freshman. And from that, man, it was, the build up. So I said everything that's built up, my confidence, everything, man. It was like, wow, I'm really doing something. And once I got cooking in there, man, I gained that respect. I'll never forget it in practice. I used to work so hard my freshman year, just like I said, just wanted my teammates to respect me for to respect them, and we just win, man. Just be around a group of guys that just want to work hard, want to have fun, be great teammates, and just win, man. And that's the energy I wanted to bring. That's what I bring coming into high school, and I just stayed with it and kept growing.
Yeah, so usually whenever you jump a level from middle school to high school to college, is that there's some adjustments to be made, whether it's the speed of the game and adjusting to that, physicality, better talent. What was the biggest jump for you? What was the biggest adjustment actually playing high school ball as a freshman? And how long did it take you to kind of figure things out or get comfortable in playing varsity basketball?
Hey, it was The only thing I had to get used to me, was the speed. It was the speed because I used to play against. I was 9, man. I'm probably playing against grown ass men. You know what I mean? When I was young, no lie. I used to really play against people older than me, stronger than me, faster than me, better than me, and that made me see everything. So once I got to my freshman year, there wasn't nothing that I didn't see besides, okay, I got to adjust to the speed. And it really was just the speed of things and how things work at that level. And once I got used to the speed, man, it's like, okay. Because my dad, man, he used to make me do so many push-ups and sit-ups, man. I was a physical guy. I wasn't never afraid to go to the bat. I wasn't a contact. Nah, I wasn't afraid of none of that. Because, I played football, played quarterback, all that stuff, community league, from community center all the way up. So the physical part, it was never none of that. Never, it was nothing. It was just basically just the speed of, okay, figuring out my ins and outs, the fast, the slow to fast game at that level. And hey, once I figured that out, man, I started, being more productive year in and year out.
I was going to say athleticism probably wasn't an issue for you. I'm guessing from day one you were probably the most athletic kid in the state from your first moment as a freshman in high school. I'm guessing like you never had an issue with matching up with someone who was more athletic than you.
Yeah. And I used to work. Man, I used to work at it though, man. Yeah. No lie. And because I knew I had some kind of ability. You know what I mean? I had some kind of productivity at elite level where, okay, I got my athleticism. I worked on my strength. Okay, what else it is? And I used to work on my shot so much, and it was just the speed. It was just all about the speed. And once I got it, I started mastering it, and then the game just started really just coming, natural to me. It was real good, real fun, man. Real good days. Oh man, real good days.
Yeah, so I grew up in Northern Maine, so I didn't get to see the games. I remember the tournament games would come on a week after the class B, C, and D class. They had their own week, so I used to watch the games there, see the highlights of you on TV at night. And even when I go back and look at like pictures from the old tournament games that you played in, it just looks like you always had a look on your face where you were just super intense and locked in. Like, was that something that you had in you from day one? Like, it looked like you played angry, kind of like Westbrook does now. Like, was that something that you had from day one, or is that something you kind of developed as you got older?
That was who I was.
Yeah.
That's who I was. Who I am. I'm sorry. That's just who I am. Yeah. I'm a very emotional, expressive, emotional guy. I love to have fun. I love the game. I don't like it, and I eat to this day. Still training. I still study. I still read. And it's like I eat, sleep, breathe it. I love it. I tell my clients that the difference between those two L's, like and love, because if I like it, I don't feel like it today. But if I love it, man, I'm gonna go at that thing every single day, like I gotta die for, like that last breath I gotta take. So that was me. That's who I am. That's who I really was, basketball character wise. Is hey, I want to be that leader. I was very outspoken, very emotional, show my expression. That to me that uplifted my teammate. Show who I was, how confident I was. I just wanted to be a leader, and never shied away from just being who I was and who I am today.
So I was just taking a look at the tournament track you guys had. So freshman year, you guys got to semifinal game, right? Lost to Westbrook, and then your sophomore year, you guys had a pretty good team, right? And there was an article that came out this year. They ranked the top, I think it was top 10 teams of the last 20 years, and that Brunswick team was on there. It was in the top 3. What was it about that team your sophomore year? What made you guys so special? And who was the guy? It was Dan Hammond, right? You played with Dan?
Yeah, man, that's my guy, man. That was that Kobe. That was that Kobe, Shaq, LeBron, AD. Hey, I be telling my kid, because crazy talk. We talking about this right now, but I just found the VCR, man. You know how pumped I am right now.
I bet.
because you know them all my high school tapes. So I'm gonna picture all my kids and some of my high school, you know, students that's in college now. They think old coach ain't have it, man. You know what I mean? So I mean, getting to show them that, man, it's good. But nah, what was special about that year, Tom, man? Is looking back, I watched film like 3-4 days ago, and looking at our team, man, and what was so unique about us is we played so hard and so together. No jealousy, no egos. And if you had an ego, it was, hey, I just wanted to beat everybody in front of us. If you don't have a Brunswick jersey on, you this probably ain't the trip. You know, this probably ain't the ship you want to jump on. So I mean, we were so intensive, we were so together, we were so confident. No ego. I mean, we just got after it, man. We guarded full court, man to man, at everybody all day long. I mean, I was watching like 3, 4, 5 games in a row, and it was like it was just a continuation of consistency, mad elite consistency, hard work, and togetherness, and a bunch of guys. Like I said, Danny Hammond was a great leader, and like I said, I learned a lot being under him that year. Being a sophomore, he was a junior, and you know, watching his work ethic, and then being around, like I said, with the Drew Politiers, seeing his work ethic, man. He was one of our sharpshooters, and you know, being around the Nick Duffys, our defensive stopper, and I mean, I can go on and on about that squad. The Mike LeBekas coming off the bench, 6 man, you know, giving you 10 and 5 rebounds. I mean, everybody had their role. Everybody knew what we needed, and everybody was rocking with it. And, hey, we didn't lose a game that year, man. We was tuned up real nice and went in that year and hell came out with a state championship.
You guys played during the state championship, won by 22, and defeated one Nick Hanner Medley, who was Mr. Basketball that year and went on and had a great career in Maryland and actually still playing pro ball. What do you remember most about going into that game? I'm guessing there was a lot of hype around that game with Nick being who he was, you guys coming in undefeated. Like, what was it like coming into the game itself?
Man, like you said, hype, like super hype. Like it was some, like that game made me look back over my childhood years being young. And nobody, I never told anybody, but that day before that game, man, it's like I reminisced heavy on my childhood career. You know, we stopped like some of my childhood friends that day, you know what I mean, just rapping about how hard we used to work, you know, in the championships and the big games and opportunities that we kind of wanted and we grew up on. And I told them, hey, well, I'm living in this moment right now, talking to him on the phone. And, you know, I had so much grit. It was like I had so much grit on top of, like I said, my dad, man, he was deployed at the time, and I promised him, hey, we get back. I told him if we got back to the semifinals, he said he'll fly back so we can go, so he can make it to the semifinals and the state game. Man, that was on my heart. You know what I mean? So I had so much on top of all that hype. It's like, man, listen, I've never been in this situation. These boys from Portland, everybody talking about there. Yeah, they have a great team. I mean, my boy Nick, leading them, being a great leader like he was, and to this day he is. And they had Jamal, they had Phillips there. You know, they had a nice big. They was a big team too. So, you know, we thinking we the underdogs, man. We from Little Brunswick, man. We came in that game and we came with some grit. I ain't lie. We came with an attitude. We came to show everybody. Now, a lot of you know this, we said that whole time. We came to show everybody, hey, man, listen, Deering is a great team. Don't get me wrong. Don't take nothing away from them. But this year right here, nah, this one ours right here. This one ours right here. And that's just how we went at it. And when I say from the jump ball, man, we put that foot down. We ain't let up, man. And that was our whole purpose. That was our whole motive of, listen, we get it going, don't let up. And that's what it was, man. Let's get this chip.
So, you had a little 30-piece, I think, right? A little 30-piece in the state championship. It's not bad.
31 piece, man. Look, Silent I was tripping too, though. I was like, dang, where'd it come from? So when I look back at it, hey, I was here and there, you know, little young boy, little young Mims too. I said, God. But I mean, was fun, man. Great atmosphere. I mean, it was that was like college life, man. That was like college life. It was amazing. I ain't lying. It was there. Had they whole side just filled up. We over here loaded. Then you got people that ain't even playing. Everybody coming. I mean, on TV, cameras everywhere. I mean, it was something. And then Nick had his colleges there. I had some of my schools include me there, man. It was an amazing time. Like, I remember all that. Right? The whole deal, man. It was amazing. Going out there, I ain't lying, I was nervous and warm for a section. I'm like, dang, man, this big old arena. You know what I mean? We weren't playing in an arena like that in high school.
Yeah.
It was like, once we got in there, it's like, whoa. But those 2-3 days before really helped us out, you know, with the vision and, you know, the background and all that stuff. I mean, it was amazing, man. Fun. Great life story.
So I'm curious, how did you attack your off seasons? Because I'm guessing you were always the type that you felt like you had something to prove, having a chip on your shoulder, coming from Florida. So you win a chip your sophomore year. What fueled you in the off season coming into your junior year? Because you were going to take on a bigger role. The name Ralph Mims was a little bit bigger. You were going to start being, the sole attention of the opposition. What fueled your off seasons to get better?
Man, plain and simple, work. I mean, I can't put it nowhere else. It's work. I know people gonna be at me. My Coach Hanson used to always tell me, "Hey, people gonna play you different this year. People gonna try to cheat shot you. My mental was so prepared for whatever time it was. I just knew if I worked, like I said, my favorite player, Kobe Bryant, man, I used to watch so much film and watch his mentality, how he studied, how he prepared and everything. So that was me. I mean, I really, man, and I tell my kids that to this day, it's like, I thought I was Kobe Bryant since I was 5. That's my favorite player. And that's how I went about my lifestyle. That's how I went about practice, games, situations. And hey, I just said, hey, I'm going to go into this year. Whatever I didn't do my sophomore year, okay, yeah, we had a good year. Okay, I wanted to get stronger. I knew that. Coming in my junior year, let's get stronger. Let's get more explosive, like, because now people going to push up on you more. People going to try to aggravate you. Okay, let me get some more shoulders. Let me get some more, legs in me so I can jump higher, so I can, maintain my balance and my base. And so just working on my body was the number one thing. But then secondly, just really shooting the ball, just really getting the ball up, getting a lot of reps, man, hundreds of thousands of shots a day. I mean, having the type of coach I had, man, Coach Hanson don't mind you sitting right here, out with you after practice, getting it in. And that's what type of team we've had. That's the type of leadership I wanted to display. And going into my junior year, I knew we wasn't going to be the same type. We wasn't going to have the same type of talent or anything, nowhere near my sophomore year. But I know if we work hard and I continue to lead the best way I could, I mean, hey, anything's possible.
All right, so you guys march through your junior year, go 18-0. We have a crazy, I don't know how many game winning streak, going 22-0 the year before, 18 straight in the regular season. You guys get back to the Eastern Maine final, running to Bangor. What was it like going into that game? Because you mentioned the crazy crowd down there in Portland for the Deering game. Yeah. But this one was in the Bangor Auditorium against the hometown Bangor Rams.
Against Bangor, too. So you know what it, man, Tom, you know what it was, man. It was crazy. Loud, and that was I think that was my first time playing Banks. That was my first time playing Bangor, playing Bangor in that auditorium.
Yeah.
And all I heard was, how good they are in the auditorium. And, I kept hearing that type of stuff. And I'm like, man, that was a good team, man. Nobody don't. So, hey, it was on their P's and Q's, man. I ain't lying. They came in on it. And at the end, man, they ended up on top. But it was a real good, close game. And, like I said, a little small here and there mistakes. But, man, when I say we rallied that game out, I think, man, I think we wasn't even. I think that wasn't even one of our best games, but I think we fought, man. And I think we got in foul trouble. It was like, I think we got in foul trouble in all that game. So yeah, man, they played their butts off and they played good. And hey, they won, man. They beat us that time. They got us that time, man.
So you mentioned it being the first time you played Bangor in the auditorium and it just being in a different environment than maybe playing other teams in the auditorium. But what can you say about playing in the auditorium itself? Because you had all kinds of games you played in that building. What do you remember most? Because as a kid not being, a kid not coming from Maine, like I wonder if it meant less to you not knowing the history of the state and the games in there, or what was it like for you, kind of being like a kid from out of state playing games in there.
When I found out what you just said about the historical moments and all that in that auditorium, when I found that out, Tom, I told myself I'm about to be the next one. I'm going to be the next one in this auditorium that, hey, people go remember me. They go know what's up with Brunswick and Mims in this auditorium. And, man, when I say I love the floor, the hoops, them soft rims, man, I'll never forget none of those, man. Being right in the middle. It's like people on top of you is loud, man. I mean, and it's like you just right in the middle and everybody's watching it. It was amazing, man. It was amazing walking in that arena, that cool air. You know what I mean? It's just, man, bright lights, stepping from down, going up onto that floor. It's soft. I mean, I just remember all of them, that soft landing floor, just loud, man. It was amazing. I ain't lying. I love that place. I love that. They're looking at it on film now. It's like, wow, man, that was like college atmosphere for real.
Yeah. So obviously your junior year didn't end the way you wanted it to. Going down to Bangor in the Eastern Maine final, you had one more year to come back, right? But at what point did the recruiting process start? I mean, you mentioned that there were some schools that were watching you your sophomore year in the Deering game. When did the recruiting process actually start for you, and when did you make your decision? Was it something that you decided upon before going into your senior year, or was it a later process to ultimately pick Florida State?
Well, I was getting letters and recruitment and all that, man, like my freshman year, like the middle end of my freshman year.
Yep.
And then from that point on, it was all type of schools from here and there. And when the whole recruiting deal started happening was, I want to say, the end of my sophomore year, because I went to a lot of camps and, you know, a lot of Adidas. I went to Adidas camp, a Converse camp. I went to a Pump and Run camp in Cali, like just certain different camps I went to and got my name going and things like that and got seen. And right around going into end of my the school year of my sophomore year. Yeah, that summer home for my junior senior year, man, it was crazy.
What came down to picking Florida State? Was it just wanting to play back in your home state, or playing in the ACC? What was it about the Seminole program that made you pick them?
Man, it was, first of all, Coach Hamilton. I mean, I wanted to play for a guy like him, man, a leader, father figure, you know, a great guy, man, a winner. Wanted to play for, also, you know, I wanted to get back down here being in Florida, you know, being up there in Maine, man, have an opportunity to come here my home and play for a school, for the coach I want to play for. Me being from Florida, you know, have an opportunity, man. I wanted my family to kind of be close and kind of watch that part of my career. And that was another thing. And the third thing, man, was just ACC. I mean, best basketball conference in the country. I couldn't. It's like I always told myself I wanted to challenge myself and I wanted to play against the best, no matter what levels. I wanted to always play against the best. And for me to have ACC, SEC, Atlantic 10, Big East schools, and to have an ACC at that level, and I was a Florida State fan on top. You know what I mean? Everything just it just fell in place, man. So signing there, I mean, being a fan of Florida State, the coach I wanted to play for, being near my home, you know, hometown, is all that fell into place as we signed to Florida State.
So you mentioned whenever you were down in Florida coming to Maine, you had a chip on your shoulder kind of coming to the Northeast. And then when you were in Maine, this is where you played your high school ball. But then you mentioned all these camps that you went to. And I'm guessing you had a chip on your shoulder when you went to these camps because you were kind of representing Maine, right? And people were probably thinking, who's this kid from Maine? Was that the case when you went to some of these camps?
It was crazy, man. Cause they was like, "From Maine, what you doing?" Like I mean, guys from Washington, Chicago, LA, everywhere, and they like, Maine. There's some of the coaches and stuff. And people used to come up to me, man, where you from, man? What's your name? Where you from? You know, I'm from Maine, man. That's, you know, see my ID and all that stuff, man. So, yeah, man, I put Maine on the map, man. I really carried that with me. Like I said, Maine was with me and I was with them. And hey, I went everywhere repping that. And that's just the truth.
So obviously you chose Florida State, but before you went to Florida State, you had your senior year to go through. So I'm guessing coming into your senior year, you had goals. I'm guessing the state championship, Mr. Basketball, All-State. I'm guessing you had all these things in mind. Was that pretty much it, or was there anything else you wanted to accomplish before ending your high school career here in Maine?
No, I ain't gonna even lie, man. Because Tom, I didn't even know that my high school career was gonna go that way, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I share these stories with my kids, and it's like, wow, it's just when you put in the work, when you put in the time, when you put in the dedication, when it's for real, things come out the way they come out. And do you go through ups and downs? Do you lose? Do you win? Yes. But one thing I can say going through my senior year, man, is I went in that year with high expectations of being a leader, knowing that all 3 years that I was at Brunswick High School, this is going to be a year that's completely different, totally off the wall different. So, I wanted to be a better leader. I always wanted to be better at things that either I was pretty good at, but I always want to, I want the elite level it. I want to really master it. I mean, I want to be a better leader. I did that. I got stronger. I got more explosive. But my main thing, Tom, that year, man, is I want to be a leader. If I don't be nothing else, I wanted to lead Brunswick High School and lead my last teammates that's graduating with me. I want to be a leader, a great teammate, a great person, and a winner. I mean, just letting everybody know, hey, listen, I'm a winner regardless of who on my side. Hey, whoever's on my side rocking with me, and we're going to make this thing happen. And going through that whole senior year, man, I just told that whole group, listen, we was nowhere near talented. And I'm not taking away nothing from the guys from my senior year, but there was no talented compared to the first 3 years in high school compared to my senior year.
Right.
But the guys that I played with, when I say they played their asses off, they played hard, they gave it all they got, they listened, they did their assignments. I mean, we studied, we slept together. Everything, man. That's how I had the type of senior year I had to finish my high school career off. I finished off winning, regardless of what anybody had to say. It was, listen, look at how I'm leading, look at the guys that I'm leading with, and look at my high school career from 9th grade to my senior year on top of talent. We're still winning, and I will always be a winner. And we won. Went to the state championship, man. A lot of people didn't even, me looking at that team picture going matchup for matchup, you would have never thought we had the state championship. So my leadership that year really, really, really exposed itself, and I learned a lot, and I grew so much going into getting ready, prepared. And I also wanted to prepare myself that year, Tom, for college too, man. That's right. Another thing. Before I wanted to prepare myself mentally, physically, and emotionally for college. So I knew if I could prepare myself for college during my senior year while I played, I knew I was going to have a great year, and that's what I did.
Yeah, so I want to get to your run through the playoffs here in the state championship game because it was pretty incredible what happened. But before we do, you mentioned not having as talented of a team as the years before, but you guys still went 17-1, and at this point, I think it's safe to say everyone knew who Ralph Mims was. So I'm guessing whenever you guys went into some opposing gyms and played some of your rivals, you probably were on the receiving end of some pretty harsh things from some of the fan bases. Like, what were some of these hostile environments like for your senior year? I'm guessing you got it from everybody.
Oh man, the highest one, man. Mount Ararat,
yeah,
Oxford Hills. Who else was, man? I think Oxford Hills, Mount Blue, Mount Ararat. No, let me take that back. I'm sorry, I'm tripping. Waterville, Coney. Oxford Hills, Mount Ararat, Mount Blue, those are top. But Coney, Waterville, Lawrence, all those top, man, listen. Yeah, I'm talking about some crazy stuff, man. I told my kids, there used to be racial slurs. I used to get all type of stuff, man. I used to get all type of stuff. But I teach my kids this right now, man. It's mentally tough. That's what matters. I don't care what you say. Because what I'm doing to you right now is really pissing you off because I got 30. So my mental man was so locked in. But yeah, I got a lot of stuff thrown at me, water, and people up there just saying racial slurs and what they gonna do and putting threats on me and all that stuff. Yeah, I dealt with some of that stuff, but I never entertained that stuff, man. Never.
Yeah, and you mentioned that you just put in the work and gave it to him on the court. Averaged 30 points a game on the year with 7.5 assists. That's not bad. It's not bad right there. It's not a bad way to shut up these crowds. But you guys did get back to a state championship game, and I got to talk about these two games. So you get to the Eastern Maine final. You guys play Bangor, and you drop what 40? Where was it? 41 on them to get to a state title game. 41. I mean, I'm guessing you were going to will you guys back to a state championship game, right?
Hey, and I was in foul trouble that night too. I'll never forget it. I was in foul trouble that night, but I promised Coach Hanson. I said, Coach, I promised my coach. And I said, we get back to this chip, regardless, man. And he rocked with me, man, and we made it happen, man. I ain't lying. Yeah, I remember those nights, man. I remember those days and nights. I had a lot of sleepless nights. I mean, a lot of sleepless hours. Those. I want to say, man, that was probably like a week or two. I had some tough days sleeping, man, trying to make that happen, though, Tom. No lie.
And I'm guessing that had to be like some nice little payback for what Bangor did to you guys the year before, right? I mean, you guys beat Bangor.
You know that was. Yeah, that's why I told Coach. I said, Coach, we lost. We lost last year. This ain't happening my senior. This not gonna happen. Regardless, this not gonna happen. This not. And I promised him that. I promised my teammates, even in that huddle. I said we weren't gonna lose, man. And those last 30, well, I think I had like 32 or 35 some consecutive. Yeah, man. And going crazy. And yeah. I had to.
And 34 straight points at one point in that game. You talk about Kobe being your idol growing up. That's some Mamba mentality right there.
Yeah, man. That was I had a lot of his film sessions. I mean, I was watching a lot of his films, man. I'm serious. I was deep, man. I was deep with it, Tom. And I was watching a lot of his moments and stuff like that, man. And just seeing his consecutive scoring and how he dealt with it and how he kept his mental and his confidence and how he stayed, because that game was close. That whole game was close. Yeah. I don't forget it. That game was close, man. But I just knew if whoever break first was going to lose. And that's what I told my soldiers, man. Hey, if we don't break, I'm telling you, we winning. And at the end, man, Coach Hanson put it in my hand, man, and I went crazy. And I'll never forget it. It was a great run, great career. Great experience, I'll say. That was a real good experience. I say that was another moment of preparing me for college. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just having that type of mentality, that type of willpower to, hey man, will your team through something, knowing that you nowhere near talented as them. They were way more talented than us, man. Way more talented than us, bigger than us, everything. But it was all about that nitty gritty, man. Who's gonna be more nitty and gritty, and who wanted more? We got on top, man, and won that thing, Tom. It was great, man.
And they got back to a state game and ran into a very, very, very good Portland team. And I got to know about this.
Big as hell team. I still be talking. Hey, I talk to some of them. I be cussing them out, too.
Yeah. So
Tyler and all. I be talking to Tyler and all them boys. Yeah, man.
You got to tell me about this game a little bit, the mindset and just the mentality in this game. You put up a record, 46 in a state championship game. Like, what's going through your mind? Like, what keeps you going? Like in a game like that, where there's a lot of pressure, it's for the ultimate prize, and you just keep attacking, like you're just in attack mode the whole time.
Tom, that game, man, I'm laughing right now, but that game, it was me. It was all. I said, listen, win, lose, or draw, and I'll never forget it. Win, lose, or draw, I'm dropping y'all off. I lie to you not. I told Tyler, Rico, that whole squad, because half of that team was my AAU boys. Yeah. I played AAU with half of that team. And we used to talk at AAU. They used to talk all that smack and all this. I used to drop them off at AAU in practice. I'm talking this practice, I'm dropping them off. They used to talk all that smack. I said, y'all wait till the season, blah, blah, blah. Y'all ain't gonna get to the whole night. I said, listen, if we get to the championship, we run against y'all, win, lose, or draw. And look, y'all better win. From what type of team y'all have, Rico and Tyler, y'all better win. But trust me, I promise you, dog, I'm gonna drop every last one of y'all off. I'm gonna drop y'all off. That's what I mean. that's the whole mentality of that whole game is, bro. You know, I'm finna have fun, bro. I had to sign at this point. I had to sign to college. I got my young soldiers. We was a young team. My young soldiers all the way here to the state championship, man. I told my coach the game before I made my statement, like that game, that Bengal game, it really laid in me, man. So going into that last game, it's like, you know what, man, I'm finna have a blast. I'm about to have fun. I'm about to have so much fun against everybody. It's like everybody watching me my last time here in state playing this game. I'm about to have so much fun, but I'm about to drop every last one of my teammates off. Every last one of my AAU teams, my players, I'm about to drop them off. And that's what it was, man. Just going to that thing, having fun and competing and showing people that, listen, y'all might be big as hell. Y'all very talented from y'all hell. Y'all got from 1 through 8, y'all led bit of 6'3" and 6'3" to 6'9". You know what I mean? That was huge. So I'm like, golly, hey, let's go in this thing and have some fun, man. And when I say I just had a blast, and that just, hey, to me, that's how I ended up with 46. And I didn't even know I had 46. The funny part about it, I didn't even know it.
Yeah, I was going to say, so.
I was just having fun.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, how you were kind of giving them shit leading up to it, and how you're going to give them work, and you did. Was it an easy 46? Can you say right now that it was an easy 46 just to kind of let them know that it wasn't that hard to do?
It was. I mean, it was because it was game line time, man. And I was never been the type of kid that, you know, tap into my ego. But now, man, since I've been training and people been asking me questions, it's like, man, I was pretty damn good. You know, I got to kind of talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
And I've never did that in none of my career, man. I swear to God. Having big games and stuff like I did, I never went around, you know, I dropped 40 on blah, blah, blah. You know, I was never that type person. It's like, man, you know, I did that. Oh, that's just hard work. You know what I mean? I was satisfied. I was never satisfied. I was happy. You know what I mean? I was never satisfied because I knew it was still work that needed to be done. But accomplishing the things that I accomplished, it's like, damn, I was pretty good. So that 46, yeah, because I already had my mind made up that I was going to drop their butts off. So, yeah, it was easy because I knew they was going to try to throw Rico at me. They were throwing everybody at me. I said, if me and my coaches already had our heads together on what it was. So, hey, I just told Coach I'm finna go in this thing, go crazy, man. And yeah, it wasn't tough. No, I said it wasn't tough 46. It was just getting. I blacked out, Tom. Let me say that, man. I blacked out at this hoop.
Yeah,
I ain't lying. I blacked out and was just hooping.
So
it was so fun, man.
Yeah, so obviously you went on to play to Florida State, but I just want to ask you one more question on the Maine high school scene before we talk about Florida State real quick here. Who were some of the guys that brought out the best in you? Like, who did you kind of compare yourself to? Like, all right, like this is who I got to be better than. This is who's going to bring the best out of me. Like, who were you measuring yourself against during your time in Maine, from Maine?
Oh, the Nick and the Medleys.
Yeah.
The Jamals. The who else was up there going crazy? I can't think of old boy was at Westbrook at the time. It was I can't think his name. It was somebody at Westbrook was going crazy, had real good. And me hearing it, man, Danny, they said my teammate was going crazy. Danny was doing this thing. So I wanted to, kind of help. I wanted to get up in there too, and especially when I was hearing about all these Portland boys and, all them boys up there. So I'm like, man, listen, I just wanted to be a part of it. That's all. And I mean, once I got my little freshman thing with Nick and Danny, I forgot what it was, some kind of first team honors or something like that. That's when I really started figuring out, like, yeah, I'm pretty up there, and I got to maintain that. I got to maintain that and go higher. So, yeah, me hearing the names I was hearing, the Nicks, the Jamals, the Danny Hammonds, Because Danny's name was pretty big, in the little area, man, because he was doing this thing too. So yeah, man, I kind of start comparing and contrasting, and hey, trying to be amongst that number.
So then you return back home, went back down to Florida State, went to Tallahassee, and I asked you the question earlier. What was the biggest adjustment for you moving from middle school to high school? But now you're jumping from Maine high school basketball to not just Division I basketball, but ACC basketball. What was the biggest adjustment for you coming into college and making that jump once you got to Florida State?
Oh, man, everything. Look, I ain't lying, everything. Yeah. From Maine to down here, everything, man. Life, responsibility, especially, the student athlete, how serious and how deep. Like I said, it's different than high school, but now on that level, to that degree, it was the speed, the lifestyle, the demand, the demand of concentration and accountability was a real big high thing that I learned, is being accountable, being on time, and just hey, fast life. It was fast life also. Fast life, a lot of responsibilities, a lot of work, man. A lot of work. Nothing compared to high school. Lifestyle fast. You got so many things, you just going. No sit down, really. So that's just, and to sum that up, is just the fast life and just the adulthood, just really maturing you probably a lot faster than you kind of expect being a regular student.
Yeah. Because
you got so many other things you got to do, from working out to class, from class to treatment, from treatment to study hall, from study hall to film session, from film session to hell, probably individuals, from individuals to study hall again. It's just over and over repetition of things, and it was just that, man, just getting used to staying on the go and being responsible and being accountable.
Yeah, so we're going to kind of cover the Florida State a little bit more quicker than the high school stuff. But I'm just wondering, you talk about all the extra stuff that comes along with being a D1 athlete, all the extra time and responsibility and stuff like that. At any point, did you get burnt out? Did your love for the game ever kind of waver? Were you kind of like, okay, like I'm kind of eyeing the end of the road here, or did you always know that professional basketball was where you wanted to go afterwards?
Hey man, professional.
Yeah.
Since 5, I will be a professional athlete, regardless if it's overseas, if it's NBA. I want to be a professional athlete. I want to be able to provide for my family, make money, provide for my family. And if it's traveling this world, then travel in this world. But hey, I want to make money. I want to do what I love. I want to continue to play ball, and I never got burned out. Because I felt like every year I got better because I knew, what I had to do or what I wanted to accomplish or how good I wanted to be at something. I always worked at it, and every year I feel like I improved. I was always a defensive guy, from day one, even, it's my childhood years, but my offensive game, my knowledge of the game, my IQ, my decision making, going into my freshman year in Florida State, being a point guard at that level, it was unreal, the crap you got to remember and the stuff you got to know. And so, I always improve, just improving.
Yeah, and you were in the ACC at a good time. The ACC's always been good, but you were there when Carolina won the championship, right? With Rashad McCants, Raymond Felton, Sean Mason. You guys went up against that team. J.J. Redick and Sheldon Williams and all those guys at Duke.
Chris Paul, Wake Forest, all them big boys. Jared Jack, Georgia Tech, all them big boys.
Nick Cannon-Medley at Maryland, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, big boy. It was crazy.
Well, looking back on it, do you have any games, any moments that kind of stand out? You mentioned being a defensive guy, so I'm guessing you match up with a lot of these great guards. Anyone that kind of stands out?
Oh man, yeah, playing against Chris Paul.
Yeah,
that was a standout, man. Just the level of concentration you had to have playing against him. Even J.J. Redick, playing against the Duke at that time. Man, oh my God, Woo! You talking about screens and big Ewing. Just when they had big Ewing at the center, man, I'm talking, they was big. So, yeah. I mean, it's just the level, how big they were. Well, I never forget them, man, being a real freshman. It's like how big they were, how fast, how smart, how elite. Let me get there. They was elite, and it was like, damn, I better hurry the hell up. Like, I better hurry up, man. Yeah. So, dang, that's when I go back to, once I start figuring that out and seeing that and seeing the caliber of players and how big, how strong, how fast, and how intelligent and how locked in they are, man, I said, ooh, yes, sir. My end of my freshman years, oh yeah, tighten up. You better tighten all the way up or you're going to be up out of here. So, I mean, I'm serious, man. It was to that. When I played against those guys, that really prepared me for the rest of my years. It was crazy. It was like a high school thing again. Like going from my freshman year in high school, learning, being around some, pretty good experienced guys, still getting some playing time and experience at certain. I was playing 1 through 3 at the time. So, I was learning all 3 positions. And I mean, playing against those guys, it was unreal, man. It was great. Playing against the Florida boys when they was Horford and Noah, all them big boys, winning the championship and all. I played against them in all 3 years when they had all. And I played them all 3 years when they had them real good teams. I mean, all that stuff, man, really prepared me, man, for everything. And I feel like and life has this story, man, but it seems like everything is like it was a build-up. It was a build-up, and I got better, and I got better, and I mastered it, and I mastered it, and, hey, God bless me to, be a pro, man. It was real good.
Yeah, so I want to talk about the pro days. So what was your journey like? Because once again, you're kind of starting over. Like you get to high school, you're starting over. You get to college, you're starting over. Starting pro ball, starting over. So what was your journey? Where'd you start off, and where'd you ultimately go? Because you played pro for a while. So what were some of your stops?
My rookie year was Turkey. It was right out of Florida State, man. It was Turkey, and got rookie of the year that year, man. I think I was averaging like 28 or something like that, man. It was real good, and I knew, like I said, it was that. It's crazy, Tom, what me you just talked about, man. Is how life has its turns, and my whole journey, man, felt like it led the same exact way to my professional career, because it was like, I started on a team that really needed, some scoring and everything like that. So the responsibility once laid upon me again of, okay, being a scorer, being a shooting guard, averaging 25, 30 points a game because of what the type of team they want and need. So going over there, proving the point. I went over there late September too. At the time, I'm thinking, I'm like, dang, man, I ain't gonna get no job. Nobody my agent ain't giving me no job and nothing like that. So next thing you know, man, got that phone call, went over there, started off there, then played a year. Not played a year there, but I played with 2 different teams, and it was real good, man. I played one half with a team of Izmir, Turkey, and then I went to Antalya, like where the beach side at, and played the last 6 months there, and went there. Then I went to France, man. Played 3 years in France. It was amazing. Had an amazing career in France. Learned so much. That ball and the ball over there is totally different. So did the whole French thing that year in France. When I probably went to 30 plus countries, man, just playing ball in the FIBA Euro Cup and Euro League. Yeah. So that was amazing. I mean, playing 2-3 games a week, traveling, flying here, flying there. It was this airport, that airport. I mean, it was amazing. Like, that was probably the best time of my life. I ain't lying. Going from Russia to Jerusalem, from Jerusalem to Germany, from Germany to probably Croatia, from Croatia back to, man, it was amazing. It was amazing. So, going there, and then my 3rd year, that's when I ended up on the Nancy team, tore my ACL, man. That was the year, Tom. What's so crazy? You remember John Linehan at Providence, Rhode Island, that point guard, little dude. When Providence recruited me, he was my host there, man. When on my visit. Yeah. Tell me why I ended up playing with him that year on my team, man. It was crazy. Amazing.
Small world.
It was amazing. Yeah. So played on that team, won the championship that year. We won a chip, man, that France year in the chip. And after that, man, I went back at it for a couple of years, Tom. I went back at it for about, I want to say about 2 years, 3 more years, and had my son. After I had my son, man, hey, tried and I tried. And after that, I was like, hey, man, I've had such a blessed career of this basketball since I was 5. And at that point, it was just time for me to, hey, walk away from it, man, and just thank God and thank everybody, even the state of Maine, the people in Maine, Brunswick High School, my parents, my friends, all my teammates from my freshman year, from my 8th grade year in Brunswick Middle School to the time I graduated. It's just, I thank everybody, man, everybody that played a part in my life and my career. Even, hey, guys like you interviewing me, man, just wanted to share my story, man. I appreciate everything from the bottom of my heart. I never forget Maine, the state, the people. I mean, that's home, man. That's second home. That's 1A. That's 1A, 1B, either one, man. Cause Pensacola, you know what I mean? I got Pensacola, so that's 1A, 1B. But it's just honestly, man, I really appreciate everything. My career, I had a great career, even though, hey, it fell short dealing with the ACL and things like that, man. Hey, that's life. I went through the ups and downs of that, but hey, had the experience to go to the Dominican Republic for 6 months and, play out that way, seeing, getting my feel back, and things just wasn't how I wanted to be. That's when I knew, hey, hey, man, you did your share, and you've done your time, and you've displayed yourself, and you've left your purpose. Now it's time to, kind of sit down and raise your kids, and, hey, led me to, start my own training business and trying to really give back the real, authentic, official basketball. Not all this, all this extra crap these kids saying out here is ridiculous.
Yeah, and I want to get to what you're doing here in a second, but there's one thing we missed, and I got to ask you about it. So you're actually drafted by the D League, right? Iowa Energy drafted you in 2012 with the 50th overall pick.
Yeah, man. That was a little short stay, man. That was another part of my experience in my career, because I was trying to get back at it at the time. I think that was probably like around the first time I was competing, dealing with my ACL, and I got my weight and everything right around that time, and it was great. Got drafted, and that was a shocking experience, because I was just coming off of ACL, rehab real good, and got myself looking back, real good and things like that. I look back over it. I mean, Tom, it was really, man, just really getting that whole mental thing back. It was like I was physical, my leg was strong, everything. It was just my whole. And I look back at it, I know I was holding myself back mentally, because I wasn't back where I was before, and that was the frustration I think I was dealing with here and there in that time, and that was another key key ingredient of making me make that decision of, hey, Mims, hey, man, you might need to go and sit it down, boy, go and get your kids right.
It's time. It's time,
buddy.
Yeah. You mentioned doing the training thing now, right? So it's called what? Mims Basketball Lab, Training Lab?
Yep, our Mims Training. Yes, sir, our Mims Training.
Is training something you always thought you wanted to do? I mean, some people, they know later on in life they want to get into coaching. Training seems to be a popular thing now. What is it about training that just gives you that connection to the game, or keeps you connected to the game that you like?
The crazy part, Tom, my dream job still, after I played ball, I told myself, and I perfected my shot well enough. And like I said, I was blessed to have a shooting specialist. When I was at Florida State, man, he was on our coaching staff, Andy Enfield. He's the coach at USC now, head coach at USC. And I had him, man, and when he came in, I think it was like the end of my freshman year or my sophomore year, one of them years in college. And when he got a hold of me and I got a hold of him, because that was my personal coach, man, I used to practice my form and my shot with him. And, he's the guru. He's the guy for all that. So once I got all that technical part and all them details and everything for him, I really locked it in, and that really made my professional career what it was, being a great shooter, great 3-point shooter, and great free throw shooter. So my dream job, man, is to really be a shooting specialist, teaching people how to shoot correctly, the right form, and everything like that. There's not a such thing as a perfect form, but I want to teach people how to shoot the ball correctly, the proper way, and consistency, man. So that's my dream job. But this training deal, man, this is how I started. So a real quick story is, I was coaching over here at Milton High School, coaching high school basketball and everything, and in the school system, and watching kids, that have the ability and the things like that, have the ability and the potential to be whatever it is they want to be. But seeing a bunch of kids that, first of all, don't work, number one, and then two, don't have no skills whatsoever in order to progress in basketball. So once I started seeing all that stuff and went 2 and 2 together, I stopped coaching, got out of the school system and started doing the stay-home dad thing. And then my wife just started strategizing. And, I always wanted to give something back dealing with basketball, even if it was, like I said, my shooting, my training, shooting job business, or if it's just training kids how to play basketball and teaching them a fundamental base where they now can grow from, and they can learn whatever it is, become whatever it is they want at basketball. So, right. When I started that, man, hey, I really started putting 2 and 2 together. Now I really emphasize my shooting ability, my specialty in shooting, as well as just training them and teaching the real fundamentals of basketball. Because I was watching the coaching kids, man, can't make right hand, left hand layups, can't pass, can't dribble, and no creativity, like nothing. So that was like, yeah, that's time. Hey, you need to go and stay home and start teaching kids how to play basketball, man, the right way.
There you go. And,
so that what led to me, man. I really want to give back, and that's my purpose.
I like it. Giving back and still staying connected. Before we get up out of here, I want to hit on a couple of random questions, just some random fun things, see what kind of answers we can get out of you. So that Portland game, we talked about it, how, we're not shitting on your teammates and saying that they weren't good. They were just less talented than some of the teams you had prior to your senior year. And that Portland game kind of is remembered as a 1-on-5 game just because you dropped 46 on them. But let's say you could have another one of those games and go 1-on-5 and come out victorious and drop 46. Pick 5 guys that you want to go up against from your time in Maine. Just any 5 guys that you would want to beat single-handedly and win a game and have that kind of game. Who would you want to go up against?
I would have Beering, Nick and that whole squad. Westbrook. I think Westbrook had a real good team. I think the year we lost my freshman year, when we lost to Westbrook, that team, I forgot, man, they had like 2-3 boys. I think 1 or 2 I went Division I. I can't remember their names, but that team, Westbrook, that team that beat me my freshman year, like it's every team that I really lost to in my high school career, because I only lost the 4 games that I lost in my whole high school career. Yeah. I won all those games. I would love to drop them off with the 46 team. No lie.
Good answer right
there. No lie, man.
So we talked about just all the great players and teams you played against in your time at Florida State. What was your favorite venue to go in and play? A lot of historic, great venues in the ACC, man. What was your favorite one?
One, or you want me to just give you one of them?
No, you can
I mean, ain't gonna be a lot, but I'm just saying, like, my favorite was, I would really say, man, that Duke atmosphere, man. Yeah. I ain't gonna lie to you. When I say they on top of you sitting right, like you sitting on the bench, on the bleacher right behind these fans. Like, you take the ball out, they can touch you. It's crazy. Like, really touch your shirt type deal. They that close. So, I mean, loud, everything grade A. I mean, elite stuff. I mean, it was amazing, man. It was amazing.
I've been to Cameron in the summertime just to go check out the gym. Like, the gym was empty. You still get that feeling, just like this is like a basketball gym, right? It's just crazy atmosphere.
It is unreal. That was looking back on that was a crazy atmosphere. That was a crazy atmosphere. A lot of people say North Carolina. Nah, it's just big as hell in there. It ain't scary. It's just big as hell.
Looking back on your entire basketball career, do you have a moment, a game, anything that stands out the most? Looking back on it, it's a long career, it spans a long time. Is there one moment that kind of stands out more than the others?
Yeah, man, winning the state championship. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Tom, I never knew about that feeling, man. I never knew how to get there. I just knew if I kept working and I listened to my coach, because he know what he was doing. My Coach Hanson, I love him to death, man. Shout out to my coach, Coach Hanson, all day. But I mean, listening to him, man, and listening to his leadership and his guidance, man, and letting my talent take over, and believe in him, and he believed in me, man, and we lead Brunswick community and that school to victories. I mean, that speaks for itself, man. I can leave and I can really say that I'm a winner. I lost 4 games in my whole high school career. I won 81 or 91 on one of them. And that speaks for itself, man, is that I went to a place, a brand new kid, not from there, and I made a statement and I left my purpose. And I mean, that's it, man. I can really say that is every game. I mean, every game was great for me. I mean, my kids asked me that, and what, did you ever have a bad game? Yeah, I had a bad game for me was if I didn't play defense, or, you know what I mean? I couldn't really picture a bad, even the games we lost, I never had a bad game. It's just, hey, the other team just outpowered us. It was just better than us that day. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's, I really don't have a moment. It's just I feel like my whole high school career, man, is a moment, because it came and it left so fast. And I tell these kids now, man, you better enjoy every moment, because before you know it, you're going to be a senior. Before you know it, you're going to be a professional. Before you know it, you're going to be sitting down, taking care of your family, your kids, and you're going to have to answer to some of these things that you're accomplishing. I mean, to have this opportunity, man, to bring back so many memories and things that I've never been able to talk about or express, man, this is amazing right now. You know what I mean? It brings back so many feelings. It's like, man, like, you know, because I never, like I said, Tom, I've never done this. I've never really sat down and talked about myself and my career. And looking back over, it's like, damn, man, I was raw, cause I was amongst the greats. You know what I mean? I was amongst the greats, and I never knew that. I just knew if I just keep working, man, it'll give me everything I need. And that's.
You did it, you know?
Yeah, man. And I appreciate everybody, man. I appreciate every moment. Everybody, man, that placed their hand and parts for my career and my school, my teachers, man. I got so many people in my school, man, that I can go down the line and I want to appreciate that still had a hand in my college career, that was still checking on me. I mean, it was real love. It's still real love. People that I'm 35 now, man, and I still communicate with half of my teachers and counselors and stuff that really played a big, huge part of my life. Even my coach. I mean, I talked to Coach Hanson like a week or two ago, and it's deep, man. It's deep. It's for real. It's for life. It could never go away. And I really thank God for the opportunity and to installing a drive and a purpose and a dedication, man, and the sacrifice in me that led me to become a pro, and to be able to right now sit here with you and speak on my whole career and how fun and great it was and still is, as I'm 35 now, training kids to this day of really teaching them the real word of work, sacrifice, and dedication in order to get the things and accomplish the things that I've accomplished and received and went through in my life. So I'm really, really blessed to be in this situation where I'm training and everything that I've ever learned, and me being a winner, and, you know, being in that atmosphere, I'm being able to give back, man, and it's amazing. It's an amazing feeling.
Absolutely. So before we get up out of here, I always give my my guests a chance to say their last bit before we leave here. I don't know if we missed anything else you want to touch on, but this is your chance to say your final piece before we get up out of here.
Oh man, Carl, first I want to thank you and appreciate you, man, for this opportunity. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, I'm trying not to get emotional, man, because I mean, you brought me back so many memories.
Yeah.
I've accomplished so much stuff so fast and never knew that it was going to go that way. But I just want to thank the state of Maine. I want to thank Brunswick High School. I want to thank every AAU coach from Tom Nolette to Gary, rest in peace, man, to my high school coach, to Coach Parker, if he's still around. Every coach that touched Ralph Mims' career, played a part in it, man. I appreciate everything to this day. I thank you for your time, your dedication, your knowledge, that you gave to me. And it really led me to build to a great professional career. And now everything they taught and told me, I'm using it as I train my new generational kids now. And I just want to really show my love and appreciation. And man, your boy Ralph Mims will be in the city, in the state, Lord's willing, this summer. So, hey, I'm gonna get that Tom. We'll be with my boy Tom. We're gonna get some more pod going. I'm excited, man. I'm loving this, Tom. I really thank you, man. I appreciate you taking your time and your time out for me, man, to kind of share my life story and my career with you. And I appreciate, man, your time and your dedication, and I love what you're doing. I hope, hey, we can continue to kind of have these podcasts and these interviews, man, even face to face, and me getting, some of my kids I'm training and all this stuff, man, just everything just getting flowing and going. And hey, hopefully I can get my stuff going up there and we can get stuff, moving up there, man. But I really appreciate this opportunity. I really thank you so much, man, Tom, and hopefully we can get back to this, man, and keep it going.
Absolutely. I'm happy we were finally able to make it happen here. I've been circling this one for a while, and it was definitely worth the wait. And just want to say one thing. He said he's coming to Maine, guys, so – and we talked about on the very, very top, but he's making the comeback. So we might have to get like a big-time Legends game or something like that. A big-time alumni Legends game for next summer. We'll start working that. We'll see who we can get to come out for that one. You down for that, Ralph?
Right. I'm down with it, man. Hey, I'm down with it. I'm telling you, I'm trying to get a men's lead around here, man. That's how I'm feeling, Tom. I'm trying to get somebody that can give me that drive back.
All right. I'm gonna start putting that together right there. So we're gonna try to do for 2021. Get the big time Legends alumni game with Ralph.
Come on now, I'm telling you.
Yeah,
and that'll be great, man. I think that'll be great too. Time real talk. That sounds good though, man. Like getting everybody, even cats that's still playing, man. Fly in and get something going, man. Yeah, I'm with it though. I say I hopefully we can stay in touch, man. And hey, sky's the limit, man. That's all. I'm excited and I really like this, man. I appreciate it.
Shout out to Ralph Mims for coming through on Big Time Hoops, the podcast. One of the all-time, not just the great, but one of the all-time greats to ever come through. His time in Maine was short, but people still know the name. And if you go back and you look at that time period, the guy was every bit the legend that he is today. So thank you, Ralph, for coming through. And, we're going to have to make something happen and make something like this happen again. So make sure make sure everyone's checking out all the previous episodes of the podcast. You get it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. The videos up on YouTube. You can check them out there. And we'll be back next week with another big-time episode of Big Time Hoops, the podcast. But for now, we're out.